Here we go. It's about to get wild out here one more time. I just can't wait to see all of the records get smashed, and then we might start to see some changes that are out there. But first and foremost, USA Powerlifting to allow trans athletes to compete with women after losing a lawsuit. Round of applause for equality. There you go. You get exactly what you deserve. That's what you guys voted for, right? All the women, the 68% of single women that vote overwhelmingly for Democratic policies, and that's at least what they did in the midterm elections. You get what you deserve. USA Powerlifting must allow trans athletes to compete in women's division after transgender lifter J.C. Cooper won her discrimination case against the organization. The federation was mandated to cease and desist from all unfair discriminatory practices related to sexual orientation and gender identity, and reverse its former policy of barring transgender athletes within 2 weeks. So guess what? Meat's back on the menu, boys. Cooper filed a complaint with the Minnesota, of course it's Minnesota, Department of Human Rights in 2019, claiming the organization had violated the state's Human Rights Act. Why? After she was barred from competing with women. 2021, she filed a lawsuit against USA Powerlifting in state court. I was fed up with the way I was being treated. I was fed up with the way that my community was being treated, and enough was enough, Cooper told CARE after winning the case. Bro, what's your max pull? After years of experiencing discrimination from USA Powerlifting and the backlash that has occurred due to that, my balls itch for a second. Of course, I have complex feelings about the sports. I think that is a win. It is a representation of where we can move forward. Into the 46-page ruling, the harm is in making a person pretend to be something different. Oh, this is writing mental illness into the laws. You love to see it. The implicit message behind that, who they are is less than. Sure thing. That is the very essence of separation and segregation, and that's what the MHRA prohibits. Exactly. I want to live in a world not where we have separate water fountains for men and women, but we just have one water fountain where everybody can come together and watch the women get the shit kicked out of them by dudes in wigs. Oh my god. USA Powerlifting officials said they are considering appealing the decision. Why not? Don't you guys want some world records on your side? Because this shit's going to be funny. Our position is aimed at balancing the needs of cis and transgender women. Oh yeah? Whose capacities differ significantly in purely strength sports. No, they don't, you bigot. Didn't you see the ruling from the judge? Stop that. The organization president, Lawrence J. Male, said in a statement to CARE, "We have received a summary judgment decision in the court finding us liable for discrimination. We respectfully disagree with the court's conclusions. We are considering all of our options, including an appeal." Yeah, that's wonderful and fantastic, and now that's going to be the justification for all of these weirdos to show up. But it's funny, because this shit never goes the other way around. Like, you don't see women trying to break into the male side of that stuff because, well, do we have to just state the obvious once again? There's a difference. Men and women are not the same. We are more different than we are the same. That's not to say one is better than the other. Women are better at some things, men are better at others. We are also better together than we are apart. But there are weight classes for a reason. There is sex categories for a reason, because you can run down any of the world records that are out there. What is it? 100-meter sprint? I forget what the current record is, but I think the women's side of that shit is like 3 seconds slower. It's outside of a couple of niche long distance swimming parameters. There is absolutely no physical competition where your highest trained female will beat your highest trained male. If they're both given the exact same training and challenge, the guy's gonna win 100 times out of 100. And that's probably, well, I'll just go ahead and support the justification here, because we're just full full-on clown world at this point in time. And I've said from the beginning, like, this shit is only going to continue to get worse until either it becomes so obviously ludicrous, because we're not even close at this point in time, or somebody ends up dying. And this justification right here from this court case that it's just full-on discrimination, if it's upheld by any courts that are out there, if it is written fully into law, this is going to be justification for just lower-tiered men to transition, throw on a wig, you know, put on a training bra, and collect some easy W's. And there's going to be more of a need than that than ever, because we got this as well. And, you know, hey, if you're paying attention to some global politics right now, it's not exactly a good sign that more than 75% of American aged 17 to 24s aren't fit enough for military service, according to the Department of fucking Defense. This is not great. This is not great. As the U.S. military struggles to fill the ranks with new recruits, because all of your incentivizing practices to, you know, bring in the offspring of some mixed race transgender lesbian to come across the aisle. Oh wow, that shit ain't working out, huh? Who would have thought that? A new report from the Department of Defense reveals the vast majority of Americans, I would consider 3/4 to be a vast majority, of aged 17 to 24s are unfit for military service. Citing a February 16th congressional hearing, a DoD report revealed that 77% of Americans in the above age group could not physically qualify to enter the armed forces, a 6% increase from 2017. So people are getting even worse. How did that scamdemic work out for everybody? Key factor is obesity, yes, which hit nearly 42%. But that's all right. 80% of people are, you know, overweight, and then 42% of people are obese. So, you know, hey man, that's why I've stated this multiple times over. And you can be all doom and gloom about all this, but you can just take a look at that and realize that the average person is fat, can't do a body weight pull-up, can't do a couple of push-ups, can't run a mile if their life depended on it. Being an above average person has been so easy. The bar has been set so low. Like, being exceptional has never been easier. That's what I take away from this. But anyways, let's just laugh at these fat slobs. Meanwhile, a 2022 study cited by the Epoch Times, shout out, found a link between receiving government food assistance, and a greater chance of becoming obese through the consumption of unhealthy foods. Yeah, but food stamps, man. We need the food stamps in Section 8 housing. A 2015 USDA analysis found that 40% of total SNAP participants were obese. Makes sense. Last month, military.com reported on an Army initiative to whip fat, low-scoring recruits into shape in pre-basic training courses. So now we need pre-basic training. Great, wonderful, fantastic. A program known as Future Soldier Preparatory Course is designed to expand the pool of eligible Americans who can join the service by creating short camps that will help applicants reach Army standards. Those used to be fat camps for those obese kids in school. The service came up short of its recruiting goal last year. Aw, shucks, you don't say. Bringing in 45,000 new active duty troops, well below its goal of 60,000. 15,000 short, huh? This year, the service is even more ambitious, seeking 65,000 new recruits, according to military.com. Future Soldier Prep Course is giving young Americans who want to serve a chance to do so by helping them not only meet our standards, but in many cases rise above them, said General James McConville, the Army's top officer. We started seeing positive results early on in the program, and I am happy to see it expand to additional installations so we can continue to attract and invest in our nation's best talent. And then they got a picture of some of the nation's fattest talent. In September of 2022, a U.S. Army general bluntly said that young Americans are either too obese, too sick, or too criminal to serve in the military. He's not wrong. Too confused, too stupid, too indoctrinated. You could say those as well. I'll just go ahead and up the ante. Some of the challenges, we have our obesity. We have pre-existing medical conditions. We have behavioral health problems. We have criminality, people with felonies, and we have drug use, said General Javier Brunson told the spokesman review of Spokane, Washington. Brunson called it a condition, saying that it is not an Army problem, so nationally we have to look at what is going on with our youth. or youth. Sorry, Freudian slip. I got a couple of ideas, but I'm ultimately not the emperor of Earth. But guess what? If I was, there would be zero fat people because I'd be snapping shit out of existence left and right. But that's all right. That's all right. We're not there yet. Haven't got the call yet. Come on now. General statement came in response to the difficulties U.S. military had reaching their target goals for recruits in 2022. This struggle, prevalent in the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force, have prompted security analysts and some U.S. institutions to declare obesity a threat to national security. Now, I'm just having a bit of a tangential thought here, so just go with me for a second. In the past 5 to 10 years, there's been a lot of former military people pop out and hit the podcast circuit, like former CIA spooks. Like Mike Baker's probably the most famous one. Andrew Bustamante's been making the rounds lately. And then when it comes to former Marines, you've got the likes of David Goggins. I got his book. His first one's great. I need to get the second one. Jocko Willink, somebody else who I have a whole bunch of his work as well. But do you think that they've been put onto the scene in order to make the military seem more appealing because they seem to have their lives together? They seem to be able to accomplish a whole hell of a lot. I'm just wondering if it's... I don't like to believe in those whole op things, or it's just maybe kind of like piggybacking off of the first thing that I thought in the beginning and put that out there. Maybe because the vast majority of the world, because you can go ahead and extrapolate this to the rest of the Western countries. So I'll just say with the West. For the rest of the West, because your average person is so goddamn unremarkable and incapable, maybe it's just those people that rise above, that look exceptional, and it's like, okay, what's your background? Oh, you just joined the military and now you just seem to have your life together. That could also be a thing. Like I said, this is just tangential thinking at this point in time. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you guys got some clarification on that as well. Some food for thought, if you will, but not that type of food. We already got enough fat people. Each year, more than $60 million goes toward replacing the 1,200 plus first-term enlistees discharged for excess weight. Yo, Irina Sukerman, a security analyst and the owner of Scarab Rising, told Epoch Times. She said the high obesity rates have narrowed the recruiting pools considerably. Coupled with failing intelligence, these people are fat and stupid, and pliable, and education standards. Oh no, but they probably can list for you, at least a half dozen to a dozen different genders. They probably got all of that squared away. Also noted that along with reduced resiliency and flexibility, the military is less prepared to meet asymmetrical or conventional challenges. Just say it. Just say it. You've lowered the standard so many times over the subsequent decades that, now you're just attracting dorks and losers and bitches who just want a free ride. Not just females. I'm just talking bitches in general. We've also seen the impact of poor fitness and obesity among police forces in urban areas. Yup. Unfit officers facing high-risk scenarios are less likely to perform well in their jobs. How many times have you seen a clip of a traffic stop gone wrong? Somebody evading arrest, maybe hopping back into their vehicle, or maybe they're escaping a police hold. Somebody who's, got them in a half-ass rear naked choke, or they just got them by the collar of the shirt, and then all of a sudden they got to reach in, grab a strap, and pop a couple. That's why I am all for better training for police officers, man. I want anybody who's going to be given a firearm and certain rights afforded to them above your average rank and file citizen. I want them to be like me, 6.5 feet tall, 200 to 220 pounds of single-digit body fat fury. Make police officers, make military professionals frightening again, because an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of the cure. Because if you're thinking about doing some fuck shit and you know that Officer Ronnie Coleman's going to be around the corner, you might think again. You might not want to fuck around because you're going to end up finding out and it's going to suck for you. Yeah, buddy. The CDC also classifies America's obesity challenge as a security threat. The organization estimates that 1 in 5 children and 2 in 5 adults are now obese. That's, Jesus. CDC also shows that 19% of active duty service members suffered from obesity. Suffered. Well, I think they had a pretty enjoyable time about it in order to get there, which is up from 16% in 2015. Yo, people are just getting fatter and fatter, man. Active duty soldiers struggling with obesity are also 33% more likely to suffer from musculoskeletal injuries. Yeah, because their fat asses fall over and then they hurt themselves. Or, I was going back to the fridge and I twisted my ankle and it hurts now, and now I gotta eat in order to repair it, because if I don't have enough calories, how is anything gonna repair itself? In response to the challenge, U.S. military is adjusting its fitness requirements for some jobs. Great, wonderful, fantastic. Just lower the bar like you did, which is actually weird because the people that are going to be raising the bar in U.S. women's powerlifting, well, I think that joke kind of writes itself. Especially those that aren't physically demanding, such as technology-based positions. Yes, exactly. Turn everything into a fucking video game. I hear Barack Obama's getting a stiffy off of that one. Zuckerman cautioned the lowering of the bar within the United States military could set a dangerous precedent. While it is true that technical developments such as the use of UAV, yes, of course, and AI have displaced some human participations in the field, yeah, drone strikes and all that jazz, much of the combat still relies on conventional human performance. Therefore, national security depends directly on human forces being astute, situationally aware, agile, and not fat disasters. Fat, unfit, unqualified, unmitigated disasters. But hey, if you're a man and you want to join the military and you can't quite cut it, well, guess what? There's a spot on the U.S. powerlifting team just waiting for you. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.